Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets. We're diving into some fascinating questions from you, our amazing listeners, about TVs, monitors, and everything in between.
Absolutely. It's always great to tackle these real-world tech dilemmas that people face when they're trying to upgrade or, set up their perfect viewing experience. We've got a stack of great questions today that cut right to the core of what people are wondering about.
Okay, let's unpack this and jump right into our first question. We're kicking things off with a classic conundrum from Amelo, who asks, TCL QM7 from 2024 or TCL QM6K from 2025? This is a scenario so many of us face. Do you grab a deal on last year's tech or wait for the new hotness?
Yeah, exactly. And what's fascinating here, and maybe a bit counterintuitive for you listening, is that even with the newer model on the horizon, the QM7 is actually the clear winner. The key reasons are its superior brightness and black levels, which, significantly boost HDR performance.
Right, HDR being that difference between the really bright spots and the really dark spots in the picture.
Precisely. It makes everything pop. And the image processing is also a bit improved on the QM7. That's sort of the TV's brain working behind the scenes.
So what does this all mean for someone like Amelo trying to decide right now?
Well, while the QM6K did stand out in some reviews for its out-of-the-box color accuracy, which is nice, the QM7 is still the better overall buy, especially if the prices end up being similar. I actually remember being a little disappointed by the 2023 Q7, the predecessor, but when I saw the QM7 at CES in 2024, I was immediately impressed by the improvements. It was a noticeable jump.
Ah, okay. So it sounds like the QM7 is maybe a bit slept on then. If you find a good deal on it right now, you should absolutely go for it rather than holding out.
I'd say so, yeah. Definitely worth considering.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, our next question comes from Duncan5788, who asks, should I consider a 75-inch QN80F model or a 65-inch OLED TV with the same budget? This is the classic big screen versus better picture quality dilemma, isn't it?
It really is. This raises an important question for so many buyers. My take is that even a budget OLED TV, like say LG's B4 or maybe even the upcoming B5 series, is going to be a considerably better performer than the QN80F, which is a mini LED TV from Samsung.
And usually brightness is LED's big advantage over OLED, right? That's the main selling point often.
Exactly. Typically, brightness is one of the only advantages an LED TV has over an OLED. But that's not necessarily the case with the QN80F. It's not as bright as Samsung's higher-end models like the QN90F, for example, so it doesn't even play that trump card as strongly.
Interesting. What about other features like ports and gaming stuff?
Good question. Both the QN80F and, for example, an LG B series OLED would offer 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. So you're good there for consoles and PCs. And it's worth noting that LG supports Dolby Vision HDR, whereas Samsung generally doesn't. That can matter for movies especially.
Right, some people are really keen on Dolby Vision support.
Yeah. Game mode responsiveness and input lag are pretty similar across both, pretty low.
Yeah.
Though the QN80F does technically have a faster max refresh rate at 144 Hz compared to 120 Hz on the B4.
Okay, so a slight edge in refresh rate for PC gamers, maybe, and 10 inches more screen real estate. Is that enough to sway you towards the bigger LED?
Not for me personally, a 10-inch difference.
Yeah.
It's noticeable, sure, but it isn't going to turn the tide in this case. Maybe if you were talking an 85-inch against the 65-inch, based purely on getting a more immersive experience in a big room. But the image quality of the OLED, the perfect blacks, the contrast, it's just too good to pass up in this scenario.
Yeah.
You're sacrificing too much picture quality for those extra 10 inches.
Got it. So quality over quantity here,
Yeah.
unless the size difference is really huge.
That's how I see it, yeah.
All right, next up, Jiggle, who's asked questions before, wants to know. I was thinking of getting an LG C4 42-inch OLED TV to use as a monitor. It's quite expensive, so I thought of getting an OLED monitor and pairing it with an Apple TV. Is this a good solution, and does it hinder certain things? Oh, here's where it gets really interesting, the whole TV as a monitor trend. This is something you see more and more.
Thanks for the question, Jiggle. Yeah, this is a hot topic. The main hang-up for you seems to be price. A 42-inch LG C4 is around, what, $900, even on sale. Now, most OLED monitors that cost less than $900 are significantly smaller, often 32 inches, maybe, and you'd likely need to go down to like 27 inches to see a noticeable saving.
Wait, really? So smaller monitors aren't always cheaper?
Well, what's fascinating here is that anything around that 42-inch size in the dedicated OLED monitor department actually often costs more than the LG C4 TV.
Wow, okay, that's a huge compromise in size just to save a few bucks, if you save any at all. Seems like the TV is better value for size.
It often is, surprisingly. Another thing to keep in mind is the operating system. You mentioned adding an Apple TV to a monitor, but TVs like the C4 come with really good built-in smart systems like LG's WebOS or Samsung's Tizen on their TVs. It's all integrated.
Right, no extra box needed.
Exactly. Some monitors do come with built-in operating systems, but they might push you over that $900 budget, and honestly, they're often not as polished as a full TV OS.
Okay, so OS is a point for the TV. What about the actual picture you get, especially if you're mostly watching stuff like Netflix?
That's maybe the most important point. TVs generally have better picture processing that's specifically designed for viewing content like movies and shows. They have superior upscaling abilities, too. So if you feed it lower resolution content like an old YouTube video or even some 1080p stuff, the TV is better at making it look good on that 4K screen. Monitors aren't always focused on that.
So for someone primarily watching Netflix, the TV is the clear winner for image quality and processing.
I'd lean that way, yes. If your main interest is watching content rather than, say, intense gaming with lots of static elements, then the TV strengths really shine. My advice would be maybe just save up a bit more money, or wait for a better sale and get the C4 when you're ready. Trying to piece together a monitor and an Apple TV might work, but it might not ultimately fit your needs as well, especially if you value that picture processing.
Makes a lot of sense. Compromise might lead to disappointment there.
Okay, moving on. Edwin Salon asks, what TV brand or model has the best sound from built-in speakers where you won't need to buy a soundbar?
Ah, the eternal quest for decluttering. Getting great sound directly from the TV itself. It's a tough one usually.
It really is. Most super thin TVs just don't have the physical space for decent speakers. But this raises an important question about integrated audio. Based on TVs I've actually seen and heard that truly stand out, I'm going to go with the Panasonic Z95A.
Panasonic. Okay, you don't hear about them as much these days in the US market, but they make great stuff. What's special about the sound?
You can literally see why it has such great sound. There's an integrated soundbar strip along the bottom of the TV, right where you typically place a separate soundbar connected via HDMI.
Oh, interesting. So it's built right in, front-facing.
Exactly. And it does a great job elevating the Z95A's audio performance. Where it really stood out in our review was dialogue clarity. Most TV speakers are hidden on the back or firing downwards, which is just, it's an immediate disadvantage for sending clear dialogue towards you, the viewer.
Yeah, you end up cranking the volume just to hear what people are saying.
Right. With the Z95A, that clarity is literally front and center. The sound comes right at you. So unless you really want those extra components like a dedicated subwoofer for deep rumble or surround speakers for immersion, you don't really need them to get a high-quality audio experience. And that's on top of its outstanding OLED picture quality, too. It's a really well-rounded package if sound matters to you.
Good to know there are options out there if you want to avoid the extra box. Finally, Mike, 988058 asks if any LED TVs can truly match the viewing angle of an OLED. Is it even possible for them to catch up, or is it just physics?
This raises an important question about the fundamental technology. I'm going to do my best with this one, but I think physics are going to be the main factor here. It's probably preventing LED TVs, even some of the best mini LED TVs on the market, from perfectly matching OLED viewing angles.
Why is that? What's the core difference?
Because the pixels in OLED TVs light up individually. Each tiny pixel is its own light source, so they create a more evenly distributed brightness and color source that can be seen easily from multiple angles, including way off angle on the side of the TV. The light is just inherently going straight out from each point.
Okay, so even with all the advancements in LED backlights, like mini LED with thousands of zones, it's still fundamentally different.
It is. LED TVs, even mini LED, have a backlight layer that shines through the pixel layer. When you move off to the side, that light path changes. It has to travel through the screen layers at an angle, and that can cause colors to shift or brightness to drop off. You know that effect?
Yeah, definitely seen that.
That said, LED TVs have come a very, very long way. And a lot depends on the specific panel type they use, VA versus IPS, for example. I notice it all the time when viewing my QN90C at home compared to some of the other brands we get in the studio. Bigger brands like Sony and Samsung are always working on improving their VA panels, trying to keep that great contrast while also improving viewing angles.
So they are getting better.
Oh, for sure. Many of their recent high-end releases, like the successors to the QN90C and Sony's top mini LEDs, have reflected those improvements. The viewing angles are much better than older LEDs, but it just doesn't quite match OLED's level of consistency from almost any seat in the room.
So for a truly wide, consistent viewing experience where everyone gets the same great picture, OLED still reigns supreme, at least for now.
That's the bottom line, yes.
And that's all the time we have for this episode of Byte-Sized Tech. We covered a lot today, from choosing your next TV to understanding why OLED still rules the roost for certain features.
It was a fantastic set of questions, really getting into the practical decisions people are making in their tech lives. Always fun to explore these trade-offs.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.